Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host Jump, and we are continuing our Independence lineup for this week. We're starting with Bar Boys. Uh,
Yes, sir.
have you heard of this movie before? I asked you to watch this.
Hell no! I haven't heard any of these movies you sent me. I'm like, oh, I mean, I think I heard those sit in like little spoilers for our future videos, but the one was like Ding Dong,
Dantes.
Dantes, and Curtis. That one, I think I heard, just never saw.
Okay.
Since it is on Netflix.
Okay. But yeah, this kind of went up during the pandemic or like lockdown because they're like, well, what do we watch? And it was on YouTube, so they're like, oh, cool, free movie on YouTube, and everybody was like recommending it, and I checked it out. I was like, oh, I can kind of relate because I had a law class for tourism. They made us like learn from an actual lawyer, and it's like, oh, this will be easy, right? And turned out to be one hell of a class. But yeah, this is a very, I would say, compelling movie because it's, well, technically four boys, but like really it's just three guys chasing their dreams to become a lawyer, and like you attach yourselves. You're like especially to like Eric, and you're all these guys are relatable. We've all met people like Christian, Eric, Toran, and even Joshua.
Yeah, no, I like how this movie starts as like these four best friends. They all try to get into this. They do an exam trying to get into to law school, and uh, and it did give us a disclaimer that this is not what real law school is like. This is just a movie, and at the bottom, please don't sue us, which I found very funny. Um, but yeah, it just shows the four different types of people trying to get into law school.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one with Christian who's very rich, very like straight A student, trying to prove his father, like, hey, look at me, kind of deal. And then there's Toren,
Toran.
Toran,
Yeah.
Toron. Anyway, but yeah, he is middle class. He is the middle class law student, and then we have Eric, who is lower class law student, and then there is Joshua, who is just the guy who didn't pass.
Yeah.
It is four sides. It's just like it is a progression from not getting in, poor guy gets in, middle class guy gets in, and then rich guy gets in. That's the story.
And like right away, you feel like their chemistry, and you're like, I like these guys. And like, this movie takes no prisoners too, because right away they're like, oh, Joshua didn't make it. For a guy, and Joshua's like, fuck.
Yeah,
Okay.
he just wants to be a model instead, but of
Yeah.
course he has like a hard time trying to get there.
Yeah. And like, from what you said, you see how the different backgrounds of like the three guys with Christian, Toran, and Eric. Like, Eric's dad is like a security guard, but he's very willing to like, we'll find a way to pay for law school, don't you worry. And Toran's family is very, you've seen those families of like having like multiple siblings doing their own thing. I like very chill. I was like, oh guys, I passed law school. You're just like, what?
But yeah, I've heard this conversation before where it's probably a family of like seven. They got five kids, and one of them like, and like one of the parents clearly has a favorite.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and then the others are just like,
Wow. Huh? Like she's like, oh, I finally have a child who's successful, who's made it. And his sister's like, ah, thanks, mom.
everybody's so happy. But then as soon as she says that, all of the other siblings just disperse.
Yeah, like, oh, okay. And then Christian has a dad who's like, you really wanna take law school here? You have a better future abroad. Why are you settling for less? I want you to be a clone of me, to be more as successful as me. And like Christian's also hiding his girlfriend because his dad is like, oh, highbrow. Is like, oh, you don't need a girlfriend like that. She's lower class. You're like, oh, fuck. Okay, you're that kind of dad.
Yeah, you're that kind of dad.
And then you get the stakes of like what each family member or what they want to do in their life. Like, we want to be lawyers because of very different reasons. Like, I want to prove my dad that I can do it. And then Toran's just like, Toran's kind of like, oh, my family's supporting me all the way. We're all happy together, whether I make it or not. and Eric's like, I have to
Yeah.
do this for my dad and my family, so we can have better lives. And
Yeah,
like,
and I like how this movie did it.
yeah,
You get it's not just one guy. It's not just one person trying to get into law school, and you're trying to see all angles. No,
yeah,
they gave us three main characters, four if you count that guy. No offense to the guy who played Joshua, but this role did you dirty. Um, they gave us three characters, seeing it from three different perspectives, and I like that.
yeah. And like, you get a taste of like what they have to go through when it's their first day, and then one of the what do you call them? Professors is like, oh, it is survival of the fittest. Place your faith on anything. If you don't have any faith, believe in evolution. Good luck. And then they're like printing like what they have to read. They're like, oh fuck.
And they're like, this is just for the first class or something like that.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck? Thank God I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, like after this movie and after my class, it's like I have so much respect for my law student friends, because Jesus
Mhm.
Christ, like I have a few people I know who are in law school. I was like, you know what? I expect not to talk to you guys for some time. It's fine. You guys are doing heavy stuff anyway. It's just talk to me when you can. All right, all right.
By the way, when you delivered the line of like, what did like one of the people who's giving the speech say again? Where it's like survival of the fittest.
Yeah, or
You gave more of a better delivery than because I couldn't take it seriously when they would just like give us a somewhat cheesy line, where I'm like, that didn't really land that well. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of that in this movie.
yeah. I do love the scene when the three are just like talking to first class, and they're like, "Hey Eric, there's a guy checking you out. By the way, where's your professor? He's fucking late." And the guy just stands like, "Actually, it's like a minute before class, and I am your professor. Please keep all discussions to yourselves, especially about me." And you're like,
Yeah. I was like, oh shit. And that guy like kind of called it. I was like, there's the professor right there.
"Yeah, I've experienced that. Of like, damn, the professor's late. I guess we can go." And they're like, fuck."
God damn it.
And like, just like you see all aspects of these three characters' lives, you see the different professors law students get, or like basically what college gives you. Of
Yeah.
like, there's some who are just like,
What would I know?
who are, you know, deadpan, like the guy asking about fish is like, yeah, just tell me about the law and the fish, please.
And making
God,
one student cry.
like, God, you're an idiot. And she's like, I'm sorry. Like, oh, poor girl.
Yeah.
And then
Like you like learn that it's a very cutthroat
yeah,
like school.
the
to get into law school.
professor is like, what does treachery mean? And like, she mispronounces it, and the girl's like, oh, you mean treachery? Like, yes, sit down, 5. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah. I barely went to college physically. But you don't talk back to your teachers like that. That's just common knowledge.
And then like, it's a good setup because like she asks Christian's like, after the first two stand up and give an answer, she's like, he gives a better answer, and he's like, all right, what grade do they deserve? And he's like, we said 5, and they're just like, bitch, we're classmates.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's so like. It is so fucked. I don't know if law school actually does that, where they make the student who does better dictate what the other students get.
I don't remember if we did that. Then again, I threw everything about tourism law out of my head. Once the class was done, I was like, I am free. I am free.
No, but yeah, like I don't know if you're allowed to do that. Because that's so fucked. Like, you are not gonna make good connections if you keep doing that. Like,
Right.
you keep tossing people under the bus. Like, just 2 or 3 points is already like, okay, here, hey now, asshole. Like,
Right? And then you see that one guy is just like, fuck you. It's like, oh, yeah. But it's good setup for like Christian's character. It's like, oh, he's the guy. He is like, what would you call that? Straightforward, like, no, this is right, this is wrong. I won't compromise.
but he's doing whatever it takes to get his father's approval, so he is a pretty sad story,
Yeah.
and he's like scared of like introducing his girlfriend to his father because his father has like high standards and shit.
Yeah. It's like, just grow a spine, Christian. Jesus Christ. And then Toran met a frat, and he's in a frat, and they're like, oh, you get connections, and he does get the benefits of like, oh, he gets to skip class because of reasons. Eric
Mhm.
still has been like, oh, I don't know if I can continue because tuition is expensive, but the dad's like, no, you have to. I wish I made these decisions as a young man so that you can have a better life. I regret
Mm.
not giving you a better life. And you're like, oh man, I like the dad so much. I hope nothing happens to him. Eventually it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Long story short, thought the like I do like the transition because when you see them all studying in a span of 4 years, it doesn't feel like it, but they said that like they showed that it is 4 years.
Yeah.
Bit by bit, you see how their mundane life of like with Eric, he's studying. Christian, how they study, like he's losing his girlfriend. What was his name? Toren?
Toran?
Toran? Fuck's
Yeah.
sake. He's kind of like conflicted with the whole frat thing.
Hmm.
And with Eric, you just see his dad like slowly deteriorating at the back. I'm like, that guy's working so damn hard just to
And
keep it all
eventually
together because we're son.
he gets a stroke, and you're like, oh, I feel like the movie's gonna pull my heartstrings further soon. And then like we go to like 4 years later, and like Toran has like a senior
Uh-huh.
party, and then he tries to get with someone, and then she's like, we're law students. We don't have time for any of this shit.
If only it was that easy.
She's like, oh, it's just a fling, and it's one and done. And you're like, all right, we're back to being law students. No, please
Yeah,
fuck
and
off.
then
pick
she
up
was like,
midterms.
I'll text you if there's round two. I'm like, hey, yo.
And like you feel,
Yeah, it was that easy.
I didn't feel bad for Eric because he's like, we sold all of our appliances. We pawned it all. I'm sorry, Christian, I can't pay you. You're like, oh fuck, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And there's them like by like graduating. And you get to meet one of my favorite characters in this movie. Played by Odette hold on. Her last name was escaping me. Odette Khan. Here.
Justice.
Hmm?
I forgot the character's name, but the title is Justice something something. The
Yeah.
professor.
And I like her.
Yeah.
Like it is the stern, strict one, but you get why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the scene when she's the first time she teaches a class, and she's like, stop smiling, give me an answer. And you're like, oh fuck, okay, is that what it is?
We've experienced teachers like this, haven't we?
Yeah. And especially when it comes to like law teachers, I know oh, you think that's your opinion, homie, give me an answer. Like I think
Yeah.
I fucking said that's your opinion. You're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Right? Give me actual facts.
Yeah.
I get it. Right? Like when Eric like came to class with just a t-shirt instead of like proper attire,
Yeah.
she gets pissed off and doesn't believe, and well, that's after he fumbled like one of the one of the laws,
Yeah.
and she gives an explanation of why she's doing this. It was like, do you know why I am tough on everyone? Do you know why I keep trying to make you like photographically memorize all of these things? It's because if you mess up one word while you're at trial, so either the wrong person or the right person is gonna go to jail, and that'll be on you. And I was like, for me, I was like, that is an eye-opening like line right there. Like,
Yeah.
she has a point. If you fuck up one of your statements and somebody catches it, your entire fight, like what she said, she had like a decade law like fight
For farmers.
thingy for farmers for 10 years, and if she fucks up once, that entire fight is just
Over.
yeah. So I get why she's
Yeah.
so strict. She's always like, I need you to be on 100% at all times.
Yeah. And like, everybody's going through something at this point. Like, Christian's girlfriend is no longer with him because she's like, it's been 4 years. You keep fucking hiding me from your dad. It's like we're not even a couple. What the fuck?
I love what she said.
I'm a
I
fucking
am
electric
as
fan.
a gun as cement. I was like, oh, I get you.
Am I just a fucking electric fan for you? It's like, oh, okay, damn. He has a point, Christian. Turan has been really having trouble with the frat, and Eric's dad is barely there. And you're like, oh, fuck. And like when Justice was like asking him about, oh, can you run for office if you're in jail? And then some are like, no, yes. And then Christian just like gives an article, and she's like, there we go. Just because you're in jail doesn't mean you're guilty. That is a fact. And then he's like, what grade should I give Eric? And he's like, 5. You're like, fuck. God damn it.
Damn it. Yeah, because he made that deal with his dad. If he gets good grades, he goes to Harvard and finishes his master's there.
Yeah.
And
I
God.
love the detail of like as the years go by too, you see the class go from this size to this to this, and even that
like there's only a
size.
handful of people left.
Yeah,
And by the way, that's like this is not the passing grade yet. A lot of people can be like lost within that little pocket of like
right.
people.
I also like Toran's hypothetical of like, if someone gets hurt and I see it, do I have to report it? And he's like, why did he get hurt? Because he's rich. Motherfucker, I'm rich. So you would report because of me? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, what a dilemma. So everybody's facing some crisis. And like,
I'm not gonna lie, Christian. You're willing to throw your friends under the bus just to get a good grade. So fuck you, dude.
speaking of which, we go to the scene of like Justice being like, oh, most of you are barely hanging on, so I have to make like a curve. So Christian, do you want to sacrifice your really high grade so that others have a chance? Like if you,
Yeah.
I know you are interested in Eric's fate, so if you bring it down to like 0.25, 1.25 or something, he makes it, but that's your choice.
And by the way, Christian is still gonna pass. He's still gonna be top of the class.
Yeah.
It's just that little bit that's just gonna be deducted from him, just so it then like a good majority of
Yeah.
people can pass.
I
And
know.
was like, fuck.
I know this movie you're supposed to see both sides, but like their debate of like Eric and Christian, of like you really side with Eric. You're like, man, just stand up to your dad. Just tell him.
Yeah. This is the hard, like I get Christian where he's like trying to prove his dad, like, hey, trying to get the approval of from his dad. I get that struggle. Not personal. I mean, like I see it. I'm cool with my dad. No. Trying to get his father's approval. But like you can see he's so blinded by that he pretty much misses the fact that his one friend is going dirt poor with his dad dying or like at dad's doorstep, and all he needs to do is graduate just so he can start working and providing for his family. So I'm like, if I was Christian, and I feel like there's an unfair comparison, I would have not done that.
Me too. Like when I love the thing of like Eric's like maybe you can buy more friends, and then Christian's like you have such fucking nerve. Like just because I'm rich doesn't mean I don't have problems. Like you have a point, but at the same time, your dad's
fuck
fine.
you.
Man, your dad's fine. You have a nice life. You have a nice house. Eric
Yeah.
has nothing. Give him a break.
But like when your one friend is asking, "Hey, you're gonna lose nothing." By the way, if you just help me out. But then again, we gotta understand both sides' feelings. Yada yada yada. But you say if that were me and that was my boy, I'll be
Yeah.
like, "Fuck my dad, let's go."
I was kind of hoping like the janitor would be like a secret professor, too. Of like
Like played by Robin Williams, just like.
just like
No, but like, hey yo, I love it. He's just watching them just argue.
it's like, sir, can I please clean up?
Sad, bliss.
Uh,
But yeah, and then I love that scene where they both leave,
yeah.
and then like as Toran like walks out. Oh, boss, okay na. Tapunin mo na yung basura dito. I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Fuck you, Christian. Sorry.
And then Toran makes a good idea of like with his connections, like maybe I can help Eric, but it's gonna come at the cost of I don't know why Christian got involved, but
I also don't know as well. Like, is Christian part of the frat now too? No, because like you're right, he had to talk with one of like the
with Justice,
grandmaster.
yeah,
The grandmaster, like the head of the frat. He's like, hey, you're still our brother, and so is your friend. And I was like, which friend?
yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't get this part.
Yeah. Though when they were talking to Justice and Justice, like, you know what? You had the feeling of, like, Justice is not gonna crumble like that, is she? And then you see, like, Christian, like, the markings. She's like, oh, she's gonna say yes so she can get more evidence for her case. Okay.
Like, is she trying to take on the frat there?
Probably.
I guess so. And I can see why. For that specific friend.
Yeah.
Like, they are very abusive.
Yeah. Oh, you know, the the Grandmaster is played by the guy from Dead Kids in Netflix.
Yeah, we didn't do a review on that one.
You should do it one day, even though it's like kind of feeling like, oh man, why?
Yeah, it is one of like, oh, that's an actually good movie. Like, oh, back in 2016 or something.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's the day of the final test, and Eric is like, he doesn't even want to open the envelope. He's like, here, you fucking read it. It's like, okay.
By the way, Karan is so not cool for doing that.
He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and like he crumbles it and steps on it. And I was like, you piece of shit.
And then Christian's like, can I see it?
I would have been so mad at one of my friends if they did that to me.
Yeah, Christian's just like, you fucking dickhead. It's like, why?
Yeah. And then, see, like, fuck. Again, I still don't get that. Like, right, we see the Grandmaster talking to Justice. And then she talks to Christian, who shows her the bruises. I really don't get it.
It's like is it a pound of flesh kind of deal? I don't know with this movie.
Same. Can somebody, like, if y'all watch this movie, can you all explain that scene? Like what happened? How did Eric get to pass?
Yeah.
Because of Doran and Christian's sacrifice. I don't know what the sacrifice was.
Yeah. But it is the day of the bar, and they're like, we can't find Eric anywhere. He's deleted his social media account. We can't reach him by text, and then you just cut to his house, and it's his mom crying over the security guard uniform. We're like, oh fuck, oh shit, fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I was like, the mom like crying is like, hey, finish what you gotta finish, because this is what your father would have wanted. I feel like they could have changed it. Instead of this is what your father would have wanted, like this is what your father wanted you to do or something. I don't know. Like it just felt like one of those, oh, you're doing this because your parents wanted you to do this,
Right.
kind of line. Maybe I might be misinterpreting it, but it does sound like that, where they're like, do it because your dad wants you to. And I'm like, so I feel like that line doesn't sit right with me. Again, I might be misinterpreting it. Somebody correct me in the comments. I am open to any enlightenment. But yeah.
But yeah, we do get to the bar exam scene of like, you see how everybody puts everything on this thing. Like multiple universities do. Like, yeah, we can do it. We can pass on the hardest test that anyone will ever take in this country or anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like, some people get up early. It's either like, oh, one, you're super smart, or two, you're like, fuck it, I'll take it next year.
That one girl just like, she's done early, and we're like,
Yes.
it's either she's really smart or she gave up.
She's like, you know what? There's only always a second try. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Christian and Thoran are in the hall and they notice Eric has the badge of the dad's funeral, and you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
Eric took it anyway. Why? I mean, you get why, but why?
Yeah. I love that scene where Justice like comes in.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Hey," and like talks to Eric, where Eric kind of just was like, "Hey, I could just be a call center agent. Go to a call center or like BPO or something like that, or BPI,
BPO.
B-
BPI is a bank.
BPI is a bank. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, he could be a BPO or he'll just do any other job besides being a lawyer. And Justice doesn't fight him on it. She's just like, "Hey, do what you want." But I forgot what the line was.
You should know what Christian and Thoran did for you. And he's like, oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah, like they sacrificed so much. It is like a bit of a push, but it's like kind of the right push because they see potential.
Yeah.
Like even Justice sees potential.
And then he's like, it's a tough and scary world. And she's like, you know what? Some poet said, the purpose of life is to be defeated by greater and greater things. If you're not losing, you're not moving.
Not moving. I took that line. I'm like, I am putting that in my vocabulary. I'm like, I like that.
It's like, so do you fight or do you run? And he's like, I'll fight. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So he took the bar exam again.
Yeah. And then Christian's girlfriend gets back with him. We're like, I kind of feel like you deserve better, but for the sake of this movie, sure.
All right, good for you.
And
Yeah, you know what? Okay, if it was his way to stand up to his own dad, fine, just do it. But I still don't like Christian. Actor is fine. He did a great job.
Yeah, and then Thoran fucks with his family. He's like, I didn't pass. And then he's like, this mom's like, what are you gonna do now? Practice. Practice what? Law. Huh? It's like, I passed.
I laughed so hard that the family had a banner ready just in case he failed.
Say, hey, congrats, attorney Thoran. Congrats on trying your best. Oh, congrats on being an attorney.
Good luck next time or some shit. I love that because like, if y'all love me, and if I were to take like an exam for something that I really want to do, please do this. I would love it. Or you just had like a banner ready just in case the opposite outcome comes along.
You did your best, homie. Yeah.
It was so funny.
And then we cut forward to like 4 years in the future where everything, like they're all self-made lawyers. And Joshua's back to, he's an actor now. He's like, oh, I'll be in this pilot series forever. But like the rest of them are lawyers, and they all are ready, and like they start like shit, or like have a fair spot of like shit talking each other. Like, oh,
yeah, just a bit of like
ball busting.
How would I say? Yeah, like just banter, like between colleagues. Like the fact that I'm like, hey, I really hope there's not a serious case. You see, like just imagine if you're like, that man murdered my family. So I got this lawyer, and then the lawyer's like, hey, what's up, man, with a murderer's lawyer? I'm like, I really hope that's not the case.
I mean, they were with their clients, and the clients weren't like, what the fuck?
They're all like, I really hope I won't.
And then by the end, I like how they are finally allowed to debate on the Supreme Court, and they're of course allowed to pass the bar, and they have like their usernames from the beginning, and like Eric still has Sweet Lover 69. You're like, hey, I mean, cool.
We still didn't get that like the answer to like, oh, did him and the professor actually pull through?
Oh right.
Which was a shocking scene because I thought it was just like a joke. Like I thought it was just like all in their head, but no, Eric was legit trying to seduce the teacher just to like pass.
He's like, you're willing to do anything? Study. Huh?
So who knows? Maybe Eric might end up with said professor
Yeah,
in the
and he's
future.
like, hey, if you wanna meet up with me after graduation, go right ahead. It's like,
Yeah,
all right.
that's kind of cool. Us. Like I wish I had like a hot teacher and just been like, oh, I see you have a crush on me. Graduate. Then ask me out on a day. I'm like, hey, yes.
But this is a pretty good movie, and like, I rewatched it a couple of times during lockdown because I'm like, I have nothing else to watch. Fuck it.
Hmm.
And like, I see why a lot of people also, what do you call this, related to it, even though they're not lawyers. Because even though you're not a law student, you can still relate to either one of the three protagonists, and like, I can relate to Kristen or Toran or Eric, and like, I see myself as those people.
Or Joshua,
Or Josh,
who
sorry.
was barely in this movie.
It's like, you guys never pay attention to me anymore. You're all busy. Like, bro, we're lawyers. What the fuck do you expect?
Homie, I relate with Joshua very well.
You're working by though. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm working now. It's just that I'm like, man, when my friends were in college, I was lonely.
But what would you rate Bar Boys?
I would say that there are a couple of cheesy lines here and there. But I will say the writing's good.
Yeah.
I like the writing. I like the concept. I love the plot of it. Of like seeing three different situations instead of just seeing from one perspective of one person. Like, because for sure, with certain classes, you can't relate with just one person. Let's say, yeah, one person could be middle class or very rich, and he's the main protagonist of this movie. But let's say you're in a completely different class. Here, they hit all bars. Like, there's a rich guy, middle class, poor, and then Joshua, which who I relate to the most. But yeah, sadly, I'm not an actor and I don't have abs. But yeah, I like that. I like that way of storytelling where we didn't just have one protagonist; we had three, and we got really good characters played by amazing actors and actresses, just like Justice, who is again my favorite character here. It's the tough love characters I appreciate the most. And if you did go to school or law school or just any kind of school, you do relate with it because of the pressure of college and all that shit. And I say they do cover a lot of those, even though it's an over exaggeration and it is storytelling and not based on a true story. They still kind of hit like, you know, hit it on point when it comes to college life, school life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you joining a frat or you probably working towards making your family life a little bit better. That's always the case in my opinion. I like that. This movie did a really good job. Viva Production or Viva Films, if that's the one that like did this, I would say they're doing a really good job when it comes to these kind of movies. Some of their rom-coms aren't that great, in my opinion, but this one's a good one, in my opinion. So I'm giving this one a solid 8 out of 10.
I will give this an 8 out of 10 as well. I do like all the characters, and this is a pretty good story. Like, it's just really relatable, like if you're a student or especially if you're a law student. And like the fact that I kind of experienced it helped me be like, you know what, I can really relate to these people being terrified out of their minds, of like the professors being like, answer! Like, ah! Fuck! Alright, I'm sorry! Sorry about what? I don't know.
I will not lie. I had those moments of like, what is the answer to this question? I just start crying. I'm like, I don't know.
I am tired. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've all been.
Yes, but yeah, 8 out of 10. Both 8 out of 10s. It's a pretty good movie. But yeah, that's been our video on Bar Boys. What do you guys think? Can you guys relate to this in any way? Please comment down below if you want to comment down about your experiences in like law school or just college life in general. But yeah, if you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, you can find me at Gandalfus1995 on Twitter. How about you?
You can find me at JomJu on Instagram. This one right up.
And until the next video, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.